So I'm leaving now Kotor, and here still a lot of massive things, you know, unprivatized factories, open fields, Yugoslavian leftovers on all sides. It's far from how good it could be. And it's amazing town. I have showed you some of these coastal sides, but when you look then around and go deeper in the back, you have also a lot of organized criminality, the whole drug smuggling with South America, and all these unresolved property issues of the Yugoslavian times, all these kind of unused brown lands. You know, it's a kind of messy town in some aspects as well. It's not only the beauty I want to show you, because this part, especially up here, the more residential parts, but it's also the headquarters of the organized criminality gang. Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't believe it because Kotor is so beautiful, but it's also part of the reality, and it cannot be underestimated. Yeah, that we have a real problem because we have also not just this kind of transport trucks here for wood, which I have to follow it now, but also this Yugoslavian style developments, and they have unfortunately then this criminal entity here. It's called Scalaria, the whole gang, and they have also this kind of developments, which I think is very sad. Yeah, and here I have to say the brown lands, the unprivatized land, and this kind of non-restitution of the old fabrics, the unresolved issue of the ring road. I mean, Kotor really needs to be in the European Union because they have not been managing to solve any of the big issues alone. Here the EU has a little bit of investment. Yeah, good. But honestly, this is not good enough. Yeah. And it's hard to solve it. Yeah? They have done some things. You know, this tunnel is of course good, connecting to Tivat, but it's not really so cool. Yeah? And also the tunnel is not EU standards. Yeah? So in general, when I look around, it's a mixed picture. It's of course enormously beautiful, but the big infrastructure issues are not addressed. The restitution issues not addressed, and the wasteland inside not addressed, the organized criminality not addressed. You know, we are at the tunnel, and there's light at the end of the tunnel, and the light is called European Union. Of course, we have also many issues, but the main regulatory burdens we have achieved. And if there is, you know, in Rotterdam and Amsterdam, they also have organized criminality connected with the cocaine trade. Sure about it, you know, and they do a lot of this, but it is of course on a much more regulated way. How can I say? And we have the institutions to address it. And here, unfortunately, outside still there's major issues, and they will not be able to address them in the next 15 years if they are not inside, because otherwise they would have been able to address them already in the last 15 years, because they are difficult to tackle. This is these infrastructure issues in a city like Kotor, difficult, and this organized criminality in a city like Kotor, difficult. There's really a lot of difficult things ahead, and to think that the institutions of Montenegro, which have toxic infighting, still in some Yugoslavian geostrategic mess between the Democratic Front and the others, that they can solve all these complicated issues outside of the EU alone. You must be illusionary to think that that's possible. So I tell everybody very clearly, we have the option either to get things done seriously inside the European Union, or to wait for decades to come outside. And only the enemies of Europe can want that. Only Russia and China and others. Even I would not say China is an enemy of Europe. Iran maybe, or I don't know who wishes such a future, that we have another 20 years outside with limited progress, with ever more problems which are not to be solved by the domestic political elites, because they can hardly solve their own issues. To find some decent kind of cooperation, and then we ask them to solve the issue of cocaine trade from South America via Kotor, or to some immensely difficult infrastructure and expensive infrastructure challenges which they have inherited from geography, or to solve other really difficult issues of domestic and international policy, and that should then the Montenegrin political elite do, or the Albanian, or the any of this. None of them can do that outside of the European Union, because they are even difficult issues for us. Together, united in a union of 450 million, the issue of drugs, organized criminality, money laundering, we have not really found a very good convincing answer inside the European Union. And how should that be possible then outside? I don't make any videos of policemen. That's why I have to be a bit defensive, because otherwise they're getting angry. You know, it's a good example here, Sungu. They also sell good boats. That's actually very interesting and very nice to have a boat. Jetty Hotel, very good. I'm very much in favor. I could show you this one as well, but it's a bit far away at the Lustica Bay, and I'm not heading to that direction. I will go to Tivat now. Tivat is the end of my tour today, because the next 2 days I have other things to do, but Tivat is very beautiful, and it has this lighthouse development, very good. That was why I have no light on. They were all showing me I have to put light on. I didn't understand that. The police was completely not catching me, because I'm always stopping, and then, oh look, this is the snow-covered mountains. This will be very beautiful to show you also. Then this is the airport here. You see the airport, it's very nice. And then you see the snow mountains over the Boka Kotorska. This is the Orchen kind of mountain range on the border to Croatia and Bosnia. On the back of these mountains, it's Bosnia. I will try to go there next week, and then I will show you also Bosnia, whatever I can do there in the coming days. But I want to conclude my trip this year in Bosnia. But situation is that this is very close, and next to it on the other side here, a little bit to the west, you see Croatia already, next to Herzegovina. It's very beautiful, and here the airport obviously connected to the whole world. Unfortunately here they have not been able to make, and this is when accident happens here, when the flowers are there. So here you could have easily had 4 lanes, but for some reason they were not able even connecting this road, which is a standard, very important boulevard in 4 lanes towards the airport and inside Tivat. I understand in Tivat the houses, that's of course the issue, but here it would have been easily possible to do 4 lanes. I don't understand. Some of the decisions they are doing here are a mystery to me. Yeah? Anyhow, here it's extremely beautiful, and that is what matters. Here you see the airport, and then this amazing city of Tivat, which was woken up by Peter Mank from Canada, a rich businessman who had, they all have their houses in Corfu, and then they somehow were yachting up and down, discovering this, and then when Montenegro 2006 got independent, they made Djukanovic this concessionary agreement deal, and then they have woken up this amazing, beautiful Porto Montenegro. It's the lighthouse investment the country needs, because with this a lot of other things have then been possible, and that's of course fantastic. And the airport of course was already there. It also needs better management, and I always say privatization, but okay, good. That's not, I don't actually know this 100% sure what's the status here, so let's be careful not to say anything. I have the Turks already. The Turks have it in Macedonia, isn't it? Yeah. Okay, good, not to mix everything up. So here we are in the city center of Tivat. That's now the metropolis of tourism, of luxury tourism of Montenegro. And I will show you Porto Montenegro. I will go to the city parking place, and I will try to make a kind of Montenegro Tivat declaration, and showing you Tivat is a very good idea. I hope I can do that now when I find the right parking. I know where it is. I just have to be sure that I find it now. And I'm just right, I think for this, it's not a sunset today. Obviously that's also very beautiful in the summer, but here we have no rain, at least, because that is the normal thing. It's a lot of rain. And here we are going to Tivat. It's a beautiful town. It's also, they want to overtake here. This is kind of an exit that's wild. Luckily he didn't do that. And so, yes, also here many infrastructure challenges are still to be tackled. Here, this is the commercial zone. It's of course many beautiful supermarkets here already, and that is basically the entry. Here is also still so much brown land, undeveloped. So this really big urban challenges of the leftover of Yugoslavia will only be tackled inside the European Union, and there everything is nicer. This whole idea of the last years which some promote conditionality, you know, you make everything conditional on perfection, and then the center left-wing friends, or some of them are my opponents, who all think that first only the country has to be perfect and then it's allowed in the EU, and then it will be much better because we pressured them into submission of perfection. This is all absolutely nonsensical, because the only thing that will happen is that they don't do the reform, they just do the oligarchy kind of monopolistic enrichment, and they say, oh yeah, when you call us for the reforms, when you are ready to take us in. And so ultimately nothing is happening, and the status quo obviously is improving a bit, and obviously, but we are also improving in the EU, so we are actually improving faster and they are improving slower, and so the differential is getting automatically every year bigger. And that's of course not the idea. The idea would be they faster catching up to European prosperity and governance level, and then to have some kind of more equal conditions, and at least to be all in the common market, politically integrated, economically integrated, and then there will be some kind of a better market equilibrium between the incomes and the opportunities. And there's the police again, I have to be careful, otherwise they will ask me for 30 euros, and I don't want to go and spend my afternoon at any kind of Montenegrinian court facilities. That's absolutely not my plan. So I think here is very good for me to try. Where he comes from is a mystery for me, but I will now go in here and I will come back later with more from Pax Europiana, from Tivat, which I'm rolling in, trying to find some kind of parking now, and trying to show you about the Montenegro project. I tried to find a parking here, but now, okay, this is actually very good here. The city parking seems to be open. Wow, good. I will be most happy, and I will keep you posted. More from Pax Europiana, from Tivat, coming up here after I found a parking place. Bye.